Thank you very much, Chairman. Distinguished senators, honorable members of the House, our guest. I just have a question. I'm looking at the 2025 approved appropriation. No, I know. This particular document. In the 2026, I'm looking at the capital expenditure line item. What was approved for 2025 was, that's the capital expenditure on page 10, is 12.7 billion. But what is being proposed in 2026 is 1.4 billion. That's a very large variance. Is there any particular reason why your capex has dropped by over 80% or thereabouts?
Because most of the capital expenditure are captured in the EPP.
In the election budget?
The election budget.
Okay, that is understood. That's understood. Thank you very much.
The last line, 630 million naira proposed for annual medical checkup for public political office holders. Page 8, medical checkup for political office holders. Please, can you please remove that?
No, it's not the issue of removing. Explain.
Political office holders. So who are those political office holders?
Thank you very much, sir. May I respond, sir, Chair?
It is a political, it's a public officer.
Thank you, sir. May I respond, sir? For every ministry and parastatals.
Okay.
And under the public officer, the public political office holders order or whatever, remuneration, this is how it is provided. So we are talking of the chairman, the national commissioners, and the recs that are provided for. But if you change anything based on the template already provided by finance, it becomes a problem. And I was just saying that sometimes you may not even have releases just because of something as technical as that. So this template was as given to everybody, sir.
Okay, Abiru.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and co-chair and my colleagues. INEC Chairman, I think my own, are you with me here? I think my own issue here is how do you reconcile the envelope budget, right? Because you have two budgets for 2026 here and your own proposed. And what I can see there is that you have proposed for 2026 about 172 billion naira, right? While the envelope that has been provided is 140. And I can see that from your own budget and that of the envelope, I think adequate provisions have been made for all of your staff-related costs. That's all of the overheads and the recurring. However, where I think the moderation on the side of the envelope is coming from will appear to me to be in the conduct of by-elections and all of that. Are you with me? So I'd like you to go to your page 6 of the envelope system, because I'm page what's the page on this one? So that's from 2301. Now, so if you look at the page 6 on the envelope system and page 6 on your own proposal, you will notice that in making provisions for the conduct of the by-election in 2026, your proposal is about 14 billion, while they have moderated it to 5.5 billion. You can see that, right? Now, if you also go to your page 7, you can see that electoral administration again moderated to 8.5 billion from 13 billion that you have proposed. Now, so those are the key areas where I think some of those moderation are coming from. So the question then is, how are you going to reconcile this? If you understand what I'm saying, which is to say that those who have given you the envelope, have you sat down with them to convince them as to the importance of these sensitive areas. Do you get what I'm saying? So as to know in the final analysis, what do we support or what do we approve for you? And I think, Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues and honorable members, this is very important because, you know, we have a lot of by-elections that are meant to be taking place, and of course, they will know better as to the kind of arrangement they should be making. But again, in terms of the costing and also the provisioning, they are, another department of government or agency of government has moderated their expectations there. So they need to convince us, and so that we know exactly what we are being confronted with. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and my distinguished colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, sir, I think for INEC, I do not think it would be right for people outside INEC, including the Ministry of Finance, to extend the principle of envelope system to INEC. Because in the recent amendment we made, INEC was charged to ensure that all the electronic gadgets like beavers or any other electronic devices, that they are functioning. I will expect that they might want to procure more. Somebody outside INEC cannot limit it. I think, like you said in an earlier comment, we can ensure that through oversight, that whatever INEC believe they need, that they actually need it, and they will need it to ensure that the next election there are no technical or logistic challenges. I take into account, Mr. Chairman, sir, that we have had two very dangerous situations under the previous two INEC chairmen, where elections had to be postponed because for some reasons materials are not delivered on time, they are printed abroad, then they arrive at the airport, they don't have the capacity to take them to, and in the end, this created a national embarrassment. For me, we can't eat our cake and have it. In your opening remark, you said, we want democracy, it's not cheap. Even though I recognize that it's democracy to free resources also to work. But I don't want us to reduce anything INEC has asked for in return. As President Tinubu has had to tell some service chiefs, in return, Nigerians will not tolerate excuses. And the Minister of Finance have to be advised, he not being an elective person, to be sensitive to what the electoral body needs, so it doesn't delay releases, because a lot of the items, I assume, are made on order. You can't go to my village and say, I want to buy beavers. We don't sell. Or I want to change beavers to another more efficient device. It's not in the shelf. So all of this take into account. My plea, sir, is that the envelope system should be set aside and allow what I believe they need to prevail, so that in return, they will have no excuse to Nigerians. I so submit, sir. With profound respect, sir.
Chairman, in addition, there are some areas that we've also spoken about during the ongoing registration, when I asked why we cannot have at least 1 unit of registration per ward. And your technical people told me they don't have enough scanners to go around all the wards of the country. And I asked, if out of all the money we are putting into INEC, the procurement of scanner shouldn't have been a reason why we are not reaching out to people on time. And we discussed that should...
And we just brought you live footages from Abuja, where the Independent National Electoral Commission are defending their 2026 budget. Now, the Commission, of course, is proposing 873 billion naira for the 2027 elections. The INEC chairman, Josh Amupita, was in attendance with all the members, and we also had inquiries being made about the envelope budget, how INEC would be able to reconcile the presentation. We will bring you more and up to speed with the developments from here in our subsequent bulletin on News Central.
Because, yes, I know, after the document.
Okay. There's a motion to adopt the 2026 proposal as a working document and seconded. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. You have another one.
Because it's just in time to help INEC and us too in effecting some of the changes that we want to push. I'm suggesting we propose that INEC should ensure that all these items listed are complied with, like the necessary production of, procurement of all the additional equipment you need, scanners and all the rest. Adopting the proposal of NYSC in the issue of the allowance, and which other one? Because these are part of the basis with which we are going to ensure that we make requests. Because if we say that INEC, the cost of allowance is going to go up by so percentage, after you calculate, you give us what the new amount is going to be. After your calculation, you give us what the new amount is going to be, and all the amount that the difference, the purchase of scanners and all that too is going to be. Those are the areas with which we'll be able to make justification for whatever increase that we might need to replace back in what was removed. Because it is very important that we justify whatever request we are bringing. So what are they going to fall under in the area of personnel, the ad hoc staff, the area of procurement of additional equipments? We want them itemized in such a way that we can make the request very easy.
In that case, it's a comment. It's a comment, it's not a motion. Motion on respect to that again? No. Because we are moving to 2027 now. Yes. Okay. Okay, move your motion. Mike.
Thank you very much, Co-Chairman. If we look closely, Mr. Chairman, we'll see that INEC falls within the first line charge, and I think there's a reason why they fall in that category. If you look closely at everything that had to do with this budget, it even got to a stage where INEC had to start distributing what was released. So I want to move a motion here, sir, that knowing fully well that it was for a good reason that INEC falls into this category of first line charge, I want to move a motion for a full implementation of the first line charge for everything going to INEC to be implemented. I so move, Mr. Chair. Second. Mr. Chair, sir. I so move.
Moses Oluwatoyin Fayinka is my name. I rise to second the motion as moved. I so second.
The motion moved and seconded that INEC, I think the motion is to keep to implement the first line charge.
Unconditionally.
Unconditionally. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. So we move to item number 2027. That is 2027 General Election Budget Proposal. Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. No. That is we are now into election proper.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members of the Joint Committee. We also know that 2027 on the final outcome of the reform by 20. And so, vote by 2027, and the preparation for that election has already started. Because if you want to predict the future, it is necessary to create it early on time. So that is the reason why, in the wisdom of the National Assembly, it was decided years back that the appropriation for the general election should be made 360 days before the date fixed for the election. So we have before the National Assembly, therefore, the 2027 proposed INEC election budget, which is for the general election, pursuant to Section 3, subsection 3 of the Electoral Act 2022. And the budget from the summary page is divided into 4 main heads. We have the election operations cost, which is 375 billion 748 195 271.47. We also have election administrative costs, which is 92 billion 311 591 396.58. We have election technology costs, which is 209 billion 205 589 977.70. And finally, we have the election capital costs, which is the sum of 154 billion 904 529 641.94. The total proposed budget for the general election is the sum of 832 billion 169 906 287.67, with a miscellaneous expense of 41 billion 608 495 314.39. And now the grand total is 873 billion 778 401 602.08. Mr. Chairman, sir, distinguished members of the committee, you will notice that in the last budget we talked about a very low capital expenditure. So most of the capital items are captured in this general election budget. We have the details supplied as indicated on the right column, where you have the first one, election operations, is codes 230101 up to 230601. Election administrative cost is code 230703 to 230812. And for election technology cost, we have codes 230707 up to 230811. For election capital cost, we have codes 2320198 up to code 320201. And then the miscellaneous is contained in code 230725. The details are contained on pages 1 to 5. And we have given the specific codes. You can see that the blue actually capture the various heads, the 4 major heads that we have explained. And then what follows next are just the explanation. And we have also given the detailed descriptions of what those amounts will be used for in terms of the activities for the election. So may I therefore humbly present the 2027 election budget to the National Assembly. We are most grateful, sir.
No.
The budget. Actually, we had improved a little bit from what we were paying because we anticipated, but not what they are asking for. Yes, sir. But we probably will still have to interrogate it very clearly because we are all talking of a credible election, and it starts from the grassroots, and the pyramids of election are the polling units, and the masters of the polling unit are the presiding officers. So it's an issue that when we got, the letter was not actually addressed to us. It was addressed to the chair of the House Committee, and he graciously made a copy available to us. But that was after the whole act was over. So we are still going to look at it very critically and see, because most of the time, like we said, is there's cost for everything. This thing I'm holding, it has a cost. But sometimes we try to negotiate it. So, and that is what has been happening. So we've been trying to negotiate a lot of things. So we can look at it.
Okay, thank you for coming. Because following that, because there was one question I wanted to ask, and is that I said, are you sure that this amount will be adequate to address all the challenges associated with the election, taking into account some of the new obligations that will be placed on INEC upon the enactment of the proposed Electoral Act, that's the Repeal and Enactment Bill 2026, currently before the National Assembly. I'm sure INEC has been following what we are doing too, so that you look at them and see whether this budget, because there's an increase now, so will it be adequate? So that if we are making a proposal, we'll make a proposal, adequate proposal. Okay.
Okay, sir.
No, my own is just a comment. I think at this junction now, it's not for the Electoral Commission again to rewrite another budget proposal to us. They've submitted a proposal. We will look inward and see what we think is adequate enough for them, and that is why we are the National Assembly. And then we'll do justice to it, because if we know they have come below what we think will assist them, then it's our duty to advise and adjust to make them. And I remember even when we were in the retreat in the Hilton, I was the one who proposed then that we must look inward to see how to take care of the youth corpers, because they are the weakest link that can be used to compromise the whole of your exercise. And I thank God they've written officially now. So I think it's our duty now to look inward and see how we can either upgrade it upward to be able to cover some of these things that you've raised now. It's not for them to propose again. Thank you
very much.
Well, that's just in line with what we just said. But maybe what we even say clearly now is the request they have made is now 127,000 naira per copper for the 5 days. For the 5 days, both training, the 5 days training and the 2 days election period. So that's what they're asking for. 50,000 naira for the election duty, 5,000 naira for feeding, 4,500 for feeding, 5,000 naira for training allowance. So these are all everything accumulating to 127,000, and they are proposing 450,000 COP members, giving us about 32 billion naira. Huh? No, 450. 450 is the number. So, yes, it's 450 they are basing the budget on. So.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Distinguished colleagues, honorable members, my name is Asuko Ekpeyo, Senator representing Cross River South. I once again want to commend for first of all the motion asking that the statutory allocations be made a first-line charge. This National Assembly is the citadel of democracy, and it's always the first of all if democracy has an issue. And so any resources required for INEC to execute any election must be done adequately and in full. But I have one or two comments regarding the 2027 proposed election budget. If you move to page 4, please, sir. INEC has 176,846 polling units. But I see that on the line item for ballot boxes, you are providing for about 130,000 units. I don't know if that's the case of you are reusing some of the old ballot boxes or they have page 4. No, let me just finish the questions and then you answer. On page 4. So with 176,846 units, I see that you are providing an average of 130,000 ballot boxes. Also, on the last line item, built-in cubicles and booths, you are providing for a fresh new design, or so to speak. Maybe you can enlighten us as to what was wrong with the previous design and why there is a new design for voting booths. You mentioned something about secrecy, but we've all voted here and we know that those booths are well covered. So maybe there's a particular issue you want to identify. And finally, my last question on the line item, on page 5, security. I see provision of walkie-talkie communication gadget. The truth is, this is extremely essential, and I don't think that that is enough to cover. I don't know if this equipment are meant just for the security. The truth is, half of Nigeria, if not more than Nigeria, are rural areas with sometimes weak communication infrastructure. On election day, you find presiding officers and polling units struggling to get network to call to report one issue or another. I don't know whether we haven't reached the stage where all presiding officers at each of the PUs are giving long-range walkie-talkies so that they can be in communication with either the ward, the head at the ward level or at the local government level. This is something that is essential and should be looked into. Long-range walkie-talkies so that we do not have to rely on our mobile phones. The presiding officers, at least one of the PUs, should have a walkie-talkie for communication with the local government headquarters. Thank you very much. Those are my comments, and actually there are questions, the three of them. The question on the walkie-talkie, the question on the voting booth, and on the ballot boxes. Thank you.
I appreciate what the distinguished senator said about the ballot boxes. We have taken an audit of the available ballot boxes across the nation. So we didn't just want to condemn everyone. Those that are still usable, we have factored them in. So we are just having additional. That is why it is only about 130,000 as against the 176,000. Then the other issue has to do with voting cubicles and votes. One of the major concerns, even during the last Anambra election, INEC did everything possible to ensure that the election was credible. And we went the extra mile. However, we cannot have a perfect election. Nonetheless, from all the reports, including the EU reports and the report from the UK, we were given very high commendations. But the vote in their report has to do with the issue of vote buying. And when we had stakeholders engagement, the essence of the stakeholder engagement is also to have something to take away from them. And the suggestions they made as to one of the measures to curb vote buying, apart from prosecution, is that the cubicles we are using now is just too small. to expand it in such a way that the ballot boxes will also be able to accommodate it, so that you don't need to vote and come out and drop your ballot. So that if we have a cubicle that will allow you to do your voting and put it here and there immediately, a situation where somebody will vote and come out and show it to everybody as a confirmation will no longer arise. So it was for that reason that we also put our heads together to say that you vote and then you drop your ballots. Thank you, sir.
Chairman, please. No, you are finished.
On the walkie-talkie, we have channels of communications. So it's just limited to some channels that we feel they are very important. And secondly, we also have
Okay.
Like, we want to write an exam, and we're already telling the students, the expo, the cubicle thing they're asking for, they ask for, I don't think there's need for them to expose it in the open, in the media. That's one observation I have. Secondly, the issue of communication, how they communicate, is into them. If we want to know more, maybe I will request, after we finish the whole thing, we go into a section and ask some of these questions. Because he's talking about the report of EU, whatever. How we conduct our election is not to be open to the whole world. That's just my suggestion, Mr.
Okay, I agree with you. It is quoted under security. Security is not for public consumption. So details of it, we know what. Thank you very much. Okay. No, we're getting to that. Now, I'm sure we have exhausted this. Did we make the motion? Motion?
Good people of the fellow North for Inferior constituency. Mr. Chairman, I'm a proud member of this committee and I'm from Kwara. Having exhausted meaningfully all the items in the presentation INEC have made, I move that we do adopt the presentation as a working document. Okay. I so move.
Distinguished colleagues, I am coming now. Dixon, you just came in. It has been moved and seconded. It has been moved that the item, budget 2027, be adopted for as a working document. Do we have a seconder? Yes, many people have been. Okay, this time, Asuko.
Asuko Ekpenyong, Senator Cross River South. I hereby second the motion that we adopt this as a working document. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It has been moved and seconded that 2027 be adopted as a working document. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. So we are now coming to closing remarks. But before any other, I think any other matters were all covered under this, except if we have any other matter. Some other matters will start reopening again. Anyway, okay. Before the closing remarks, so many members came in after. If you know you came in like my big brother, Reke Dixon, please, you have opportunity to introduce yourself.
And also to ask a question with your permission.
Well, close. Yes. You need microphone. Because you are size, you need microphone to introduce yourself.
Mr. Chairman, co-chair, and my dear colleagues, and INEC chairman and his team, who are doing a great job, and who we know will do better. Henry Sirake Dixon, Bayelsa West, and I'm a member of this committee. Mr. Chairman, I requested your special protection and indulgence just to ask a question. One of the benefits of coming late, and I'm sorry, I was sharing another committee, is that sometimes you say things that others have said. If it turns out to be so, then observe and overrule me. But I think it's important that we seated here and Nigerians hear his response. Mr. Chairman and your team, the proposal you have made, does it take account of your infrastructure, your capacity, the support that you need to be able to give effect to the amended electoral law which now prescribes electronic transmission? Do you have that covered, the infrastructure to enable you communicate and transmit from all polling stations? Because you will need money for that. That's to be funded. Is it already covered, Mr. Chairman? It's so important that people we get a response from. Thank you.
Okay, that is why you already made the comment yourself. You came in late. That was the last question that was put in here. And we all agreed that on this issue, it is not him that will tell us. We will look at it. He has made a proposal. By the time we look into it and we pass the law, we will put in anything and also add what will be adequate for him to conduct the election. So are you comfortable now? Thank you very much. So, introduction.
Okay. Okay.
I introduce myself.
I am Right Honorable Sekab Zwayutiom, member representing the good people of Buruku Federal Constituency. I hereby move for executive section.
Mr. Chairman, just a second. Just a second.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Wait now. Mr. Chairman, Co-Chairman, my name is Senator Saliu Mustafa. I represent Kwara Central. Our invited guests, you are welcome, and my apologies for coming late, although in another committee meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our member from Buruku, you say you have something to say. Okay, let him introduce himself.
Mr. Chairman, Co-Chairman, distinguished colleagues, and right honorables, our guest, the INEC Chairman, and the General Secretary. My name is Senator Joel Onuapo Thomas. I represent the good, vibrant people of Delta South, Nigeria District, a member of this committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, you say you have AOB. Huh? Say you have AOB.
I'm sorry I was misled here a little bit. I still remain Sekab Zwayutiom. Honorable Chairman, I have a question to the Honorable Chairman of INEC. My issue is about restoration of Nyamatu State Constituency. Briefly, I want to say 79 to 93, Nyamatu constituency existed. Nyamatu constituency existed by 1999. INEC did not retain Nyamatu State Constituency. But it is clearly in section 91, of 1999 Constitution that has amended that states assemblies should consist of 3 or 4 times the number of seats which that state has in the House of Representatives. In this issue, Benue State has 11, but we still have only 32 members in the State House of Assembly. Secondly, it is said that each number of House of Reps in the state should have equals, as I mentioned before. Now, in my issue, which is Buruku Federal Constituency, there are other local governments like Bauchi local government in Bauchi State, which is only Bauchi local government as a federal constituency. But they have, as enshrined in Constitution, they have 2 or more state constituencies. You have Sabah in Kaduna local government, it's only 1 local government and the federal constituency, but they have 2 and many others. But coming to Buruku Federal Constituency, I am a member House of Representatives, and only 1 we have in the state constituency instead of 2. So we have been shortchanged on this for quite a long time. We have been writing and pleading with INEC. And then now we have 32. But the Constitution says at least we should have 33 up to 34 because we are 11 members in the House of Representatives. On this issue, sir, I move a motion on the 12th of March, and there was vote of proceedings of this on the 13th from the House directing INEC that they should restore Nyamato Federal Constituency. Nyamato State Constituency, sorry. But we have been writing, I believe my chairman has written to INEC too, but nothing has been done. I would like the INEC chairman can be now or maybe after, and let us have know the position of Nyamato State Constituency. Because on all indications, we believe that heaven will not fall if Nyamato Constituency, only Nyamato State Constituency is created. Heaven will not fall. Because this has been enshrined, this has been there, and we have been shortchanged. It's the only federal constituency in Nigeria that has this.
Thank you very much, Honorable. You have made your point. Honorable, you have made your point. I'm sure such issues are not only in the House of Representatives. We have so many of them at the Senate too. Unfortunately, this is not where to address this issue. We are doing budget. We sympathize with you, and we have noted your complaint. We will handle it later. I don't think it's for INEC to. We are doing budget now. So thank you very much for your comment, and we take seriously this kind of comment, especially from this committee. We will discuss with you later. At this stage, do we have any person who has not introduced himself? If not, I have done that. The chairman, oh, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. You know me? Huh? They say they know me as chairman, except if I'm removed today. Thank you very much. So we've come to the end of the entire business. But before we close, we'll also, I will invite my co-chair to make the closing remarks for the sitting today. I must thank you on my own, but let him do the vote of thanks and the closing remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Chairman, co-vice chairman, and senators, honorable members, and the chairman and his team. Well, it's been a wonderful deliberation, and I want to INEC to do possible. We have and each free election. Despite all the issues that we're having on ground, I'm sure many Nigerians know that INEC today is quite different from the INEC of years. Although there are a lot of distractions, but we will not be distracted. We will continue to give you all the support where necessary, legislatively and even in the area of your budget. And we'll expect to get reciprocal cooperation from your end too, because Nigerians are looking at you. INEC is the main institution now, between now and next year, and it's going to be getting tougher. And you should be ready for various terrible and tight interviews. And you should try not to drop the ball in any of these interviews, because they might hold you to responsible for some of the things you say. The last one, INEC was responsible for over-promising, for saying, making IREF look like a portal where you can start viewing the result on the screen like CNN. And at the end of the day, they said it was INEC that promised. It was not in the Electoral Act that, even IREF was not even the last Electoral Act. It was a creation of INEC. But we should be careful in trying to impress them at the end of the day, having a black crash. But we'll do our best to give you all the necessary support, and we'll be with you in this advocacy, good electionary process. So I want to use this opportunity to thank everybody for being here today, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Co-Chair. Let me announce that for those of us that are